Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Gossips 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The sun was just coming up over Los Angeles. It felt really sad inside Forrester Creations. This place used to be full of people who were really creative and wanted to do things, and it was a place where family was important. Now it was quiet. Nobody was answering the phones. Nobody was working on the design boards. You could not even hear the sound of the sewing machines, which was a sound that people at Forrester Creations were used to hearing every day. Forrester Creations was a place that was normally full of life. Now it felt empty and sad because of the grief that had fallen over it. One death had changed everything, because that one death made a lot of people sad, and it made them think about life in a different way. The death of this person was very hard for people to deal with. One death can be very powerful, can change the way people live their lives. This one death had an impact on everyone, and no one at Forrester Creations would ever be the same again. The news that shattered a dynasty, this is what people are talking about. The news was so shocking that it changed everything for this family. The family was very powerful. Lots of people looked up to them. Then something happened and it all fell apart. The news spread like fire. Soon everyone was talking about it. This family was not the same after that. The news that shattered a dynasty was a deal. It is still remembered today as the news that changed this family forever. The phone rang early that morning. Ridge was the person to pick it up. He was by himself in his office looking out at the city when his phone started shaking on the desk. The person talking on the end of the line had a quiet voice. They sounded very professional, and what they said was really bad news. Ridge was standing there all alone. The city skyline was right in front of him, but he was not really seeing it because of what the person was saying. The voice was soft and professional. It was also devastating. The things they were telling Ridge were very upsetting. "I am sorry, Mr. Forrester. We did everything we could to help Mr. Forrester. The doctors and nurses at the hospital worked hard to make sure Mr. Forrester got the best care possible." Ridge's grip got really tight. The sound of his heart beating was loud in his ears. Ridge's heart was pounding hard. It was almost deafening. He said "who" quietly, even though he already knew the answer to the question about who it was. Something stopped happening for a moment. Then he heard the name that completely changed his life. The name that shattered his world. Eric Forrester. The phone slipped from Ridge's hand. It fell onto the desk. Ridge was really shocked. He could not breathe for a moment. His father, the man who made Forrester Creations, the man who taught Ridge about family, was not alive anymore. His father was the person who built Forrester Creations from nothing. Now his father was gone. Brooke got to the place a while after that. She saw Ridge sitting there in the dark. His face was really pale. His eyes looked empty. The room was dark. It seemed like Ridge was lost in thought. Brooke found Ridge sitting like that, his face pale, his eyes hollow. "Ridge, what is wrong?" She could feel the fear starting to build up inside her chest. He looked up at her. His voice was shaking when he spoke. "My dad is not here with me anymore. He is really gone. I am talking about my dad, and my dad is gone." Brooke just stopped moving. She put her hand over her mouth because tears started coming out of her eyes. Brooke was really upset. Tears were filling her eyes. "No, that is not possible. Eric is a person. Eric always manages to survive. Eric is the kind of person who can handle situations. Eric will be okay. Eric will make it through." Ridge said that not this time. This time Ridge said that he did not do it. A family in pieces. News spread fast through the building. Steffi was walking down the hallway when she saw the message on her phone, and it slipped out of her hands. Thomas had to sit down because his legs would not hold him up anymore. Donna just broke down, and Katie had to catch her. She was crying hard. She could not stop. The news about Thomas and Donna and Steffi was really shocking. Steffi was still standing there in the hallway trying to process what she had just read on her phone. Eric Forrester wasn't just the founder of the company. He was the heart of the family. The air at the Forrester mansion felt really heavy. There were pictures of Eric Forrester over the walls. These pictures of Eric Forrester reminded everyone about the kind of person Eric Forrester was and how much Eric Forrester was missed now that he was gone. Donna was in the living room. She was looking at a picture of Eric. This picture was from a time ago. Eric had a smile in the picture. His smile looked very warm. Seemed like it was stuck that way forever. The picture showed Eric from years ago. She said that she was not ready. The woman whispered this to someone. She thought they had time. Katie held her sister tightly. She said, "None of us were ready for this to happen." Katie thought about what she said, and it was true, none of the family members were ready. Katie's sister was still in her arms and Katie was trying to comfort her. Katie said it again, "None of us were ready." Ridge was sitting by himself in the study. He had one of Eric's sketchbooks in his hands. Ridge's fingers were touching the lines that his father Eric had written a time ago. The handwriting looked really familiar to Ridge. Ridge said this in a quiet voice. He was saying, "You were supposed to guide us." Then he said, "You were supposed to keep the people." Ridge said about the person who was supposed to guide the people. Ridge meant that the person was supposed to keep the people together. Ridge was talking about the people and the person who was supposed to guide the people. Ridge said that the person did not do what they were supposed to do. Ridge said, "You were supposed to guide us and you were supposed to keep us." The funeral was really something that brought everyone to their knees. It was a sad day. The funeral of this person was so sad that it made everyone cry. People were. They could not stand up because they were so sad. This person's funeral was the kind of thing that brings everyone to their knees. The funeral was very sad. It made everyone feel very bad. The person who died was loved by everyone. That is why the funeral was so sad. It was the funeral that brought everyone to their knees because they were all crying and feeling very sad. The day of the funeral finally. The sky was gray. It was like the weather was sad too. The man who changed the fashion world forever was going to be missed. Friends, family, and even people who did not like him much all came to say goodbye to the man who changed the fashion world forever. Brooke stood beside Ridge holding his hand as the priest spoke. She felt happy to be with Ridge like this. Brooke liked the way Ridge looked at her. Ridge was really nice to Brooke. The priest was. Brooke was listening to the priest with Ridge. Eric Forrester was more than a designer, the priest said. He was a father, a loving husband, and Eric Forrester was a visionary who created something that will be around long after we are all gone, something that will outlive Eric Forrester and all of us. The pain was too much. No words could make it better. Nothing seemed to help with the pain. The pain was still there. Words could not ease the pain. Steffi wiped away her tears as she saw her father trying hard to get up. Thomas was looking at the casket and his jaw was tight. He did not want to cry. Donna was crying a lot. She was very sad because her heart was broken. Steffi felt bad for her father. She felt bad for Donna too, and she saw that Thomas was still looking at the casket that held someone they all loved. The service was over. Nobody wanted to go home. It did not feel right to walk away from the service. The service had an effect on everyone, so it felt wrong to leave the service like that. Because walking away meant that Eric was really gone, and that was something that could not be accepted. Eric was really. That was a very difficult thing to deal with. The thought of Eric being gone was very hard to accept. A company without its founder. Back at Forrester Creations you could not notice that Eric Forrester was not there. His office was the same as he had left it. His chair was empty and it felt like Eric Forrester was still. With them, his presence was felt in every part of the building. Eric Forrester was really missed. Ridge called a meeting of the board. It was an emergency. The meeting of the board was something that had to happen away, so Ridge called it. "We need to talk about the future," he said. His voice was really heavy. Forrester Creations cannot just stay the same. His father would not want Forrester Creations to do that. Steffi crossed her arms. "But nothing feels the same without Steffi's friend," she said, looking really sad. Steffi just did not feel like herself. Everything was different. It was all because Steffi missed him so much. Steffi wished that he was still with her. Thomas said that things will not be the same. The reason for this is that he was the heart of this place, the thing that made it special. Thomas thinks that this place was really about him. He was the person who made this place feel alive. This place will miss him because he was the soul of this place. Brooke spoke up gently. She said that Eric had a lot of faith in all of them. Eric really trusted the people he worked with to keep doing what he started. Ridge nodded. "This is what we are going to do with the plan." Behind the words you could sense that things were not really certain. Eric was the person who kept the family and the company going. Now that he was not there, the family and the company were starting to fall. Eric was very important to the family and the company, and without Eric, problems were beginning to appear. It looks like things are getting tough. Power struggles are starting to happen. This is where people who want power begin to fight for control of the power. The power struggles. It is a difficult time. Power struggles can be very bad. They can hurt a lot of people. When power struggles begin, it is hard to know what will happen next. The power struggles will keep going until someone gets the power they want. Now that Eric is not here, the question of who's in charge of the leadership is something that we have to think about. The issue of leadership is really important. It is something that we cannot ignore because Eric is gone. Steffi wanted to have say in what the company does. Thomas thought his ideas were the best and should be the focus. Brooke also had a lot to say about how Eric's memory should be remembered. The company was really important to all of them, Eric's legacy. Steffi and Thomas and Brooke all had ideas about what to do with the company. Things got really bad during a heated meeting. The tensions just exploded at this meeting. It was a meeting where people got very angry. The tensions exploded. This brand needs ideas, Thomas said. The brand really needs ideas. We cannot keep living in the past with the brand. The brand has to do something. Steffi said. We cannot just forget about what our father wanted because something new's popular right now. Our father's vision is important to the company. We should not erase it just to follow the latest trends. Ridge slammed his hand on the table. That is enough of this. This is what our dad did not want to happen. Our dad wanted us to be united, to have unity among ourselves, to work together in harmony like the family our dad wanted. Unity is what our dad really wanted for us. Unity just seemed like something that could never happen in a family like ours. We were already split apart by all the secrets that people had kept from each other for years. There were also the times when people did things that hurt each other badly, and the pain from those moments still lingered. A lot of hearts were. It was hard to see how we could ever come together again. The feeling of unity was really hard to imagine in a family that had been through much. Donna's breaking point. Donna was really upset when Eric died. She took Eric's death badly. It was a tough time for Donna because of Eric's death. She stopped coming to work. The woman barely left the mansion. The woman's world had lost its color. It was like everything was dull and gray now. The woman felt like she was stuck in this empty house all alone. Her world, the woman's world, had lost its color. It was a really sad place to be. Katie tried to reach Katie's friend. She wanted to talk to her, to Katie's friend, and see how she was doing with Katie. Katie really needed to get in touch with Katie's friend. Katie said, please do not shut everyone out. Eric would not want you to go away and not talk to anyone. Donna shook her head. The school halls remind me of him. The garden reminds me of him. Even the piano reminds me of him. I do not think I can breathe without the piano and the garden and the halls and him. Everything is him. The woman was really struggling with grief. It was like grief had taken over her life. The family was worried about her. They thought that maybe she would never be the same again because of the grief she was feeling. The grief was affecting her much that the family was not sure if she would ever recover from it. Secrets resurface. When Eric was no longer around, the old secrets started to come out. These were secrets that Eric had kept hidden for a long time because he wanted to protect the family. Eric had made sure these secrets were buried deep. Now they were coming back to the surface. The family was going to have to deal with the secrets that Eric had kept hidden. The legal documents showed that there were some parts in his will. These were things that nobody knew about before. There were some people who were going to get something from his will that nobody expected. The instructions in the will were not talked about openly. They really shocked everyone when they were found out. The will had some clauses that surprised people. The people who were going to get something from the will were beneficiaries. Ridge looked at the papers. He could not believe what he was seeing. The things that were written in the papers were really shocking to Ridge. Ridge just did not want to think that the papers were telling the truth about Ridge. He left a part of the company to those people. The company he started, he left a part of the company to those people. It is really about the company. What he did with the company. Brooke's eyes got really big. She said, why would Eric do that? Because she was really surprised that Eric would do something like that. Brooke could not understand why Eric would do that thing. The answer was simple and complicated. Eric always thought that people deserve another chance. He felt this way even when it came to people who had hurt his family. Eric believed in giving people a chance to make things right. Now his choices are going to cause problems for Forrester Creations. Forrester Creations is really going to suffer because of the choices he made. A family divided. Arguments happen every day. The Forrester name, which was once very respected, now felt really fragile. The Forrester name did not seem strong as it used to be. Steffi went to Ridge's office, confronted him. She had a lot to say to Ridge. Steffi was really upset with Ridge. She wanted him to know how she felt. Ridge was sitting at his desk when Steffi confronted him about what was bothering her with Ridge. She said that I am letting my emotions get in the way of making decisions. She told me that my dad would want me to be a leader to make good choices and not let my feelings cloud my judgment. My dad would want leadership from me. Ridge said, my dad would want us to remember who the family is, what the family is about, and who we are as a family. My dad would want us to keep that in mind and remember who we are. Thomas shook his head. The Thomas Company is losing the Thomas Company edge. The Thomas Company is changing whether the people at the Thomas Company like it or not. Brooke was right in the middle of everything. She was trying to keep everyone calm. The truth is, even Brooke felt really stressed out. She was trying to keep the peace. It was not easy for Brooke. The legacy that Eric left behind is still talked about today. Eric was a special person and he did a lot of great things. People remember Eric for the things he did. The legacy of Eric is something that will always be remembered. Eric made a difference in the lives of many people. The legacy that Eric left behind is a reminder of the work that Eric did. One evening the family got together in the Forrester living room. They did not have any meetings. They did not have any arguments. They just talked about times and memories. The family was in the Forrester living room to remember the times and the Forrester family memories. Ridge held up this old picture that he had. The photo was very old. Ridge was looking at the photo. My dad took this picture the day he opened Forrester Creations. He said to me that Forrester Creations is a place. My dad told me fashion is about more than clothes. Forrester Creations is about people. That is what my dad said to me. Steffi smiled even though she was crying. She said that the man believed in the importance of family. Steffi thought about this. It made her think of family too. Family was something that really mattered to him, that's what Steffi said. Thomas let out a sigh. Even when we did not deserve it. Donna said softly, he loved the people in our family. That is what is really important to us about him and his memory. He loved us. For a moment the fighting stopped. The grief brought them together. This is what Eric had always wanted to happen. Eric always thought that grief would unite them and now it had. A new part of my life is starting now. This is the beginning of something for me. I am excited to see what the future holds for me. A new chapter begins. Weeks went by. The company was getting back on track. It was slowly finding its footing again. The company was doing things to get better. The company came out with designs. Some young people who are very good at what they do started to become well known. The Forrester name was still well respected. The Forrester name would never be the same again. Ridge stood in Eric's office one time before he turned out the lights. Ridge was going to miss this place, Eric's office, where he had spent much time. He looked around Eric's office, remembered all the good times he had there. Now it was time for Ridge to leave Eric's office for good. My dad is really great. Thank you, Dad, I told him in a voice. Now my friends and I will take care of the rest of this. We will take it from here with my friends. When he closed the door, he knew that the truth about life is that some things will always stay the same, and one of those things is that truth itself will never change. Eric Forrester's death did not just end the life of Eric Forrester. This thing changed the way people think about something that has been around for a time. It really changed a legacy. And it changed Forrester Creations forever.